word with Matt Cooper.
Text 53102.
Also in the courts today, a judge has been forced to step down from a case he was hearing because of connections to the defendant in the case. Mark Tighe of the Sunday Times is responsible for bringing this story to light in last Sunday's newspaper, leading to the judge stepping down today. Good evening to you, Mark.
How are you doing, Matt?
Now, could you explain what you discovered about the judge in a particular case?
Yeah, we'd heard rumours that there was, the judge had a shareholding in CRH, so a couple of weeks ago we were checking out the public share register for CRH, and we did find Judge John Cooke had 6 accounts, which at one time had CRH shares, but they all showed a balance of 0 from 2008. But in recent weeks, Kieran Wallace, who's the acting as liquidator for the Bloxham stockbrokers, wrote to Judge John Cooke to confirm that someone in Bloxham had given out details of 6 accounts that, for some reason, I don't know why they weren't showing up on the public register, but currently held a large number of CRH shares, and this information had been given to Seamus May of Framus, who are one of the companies taking a case alleging anti-competitive taking an anti-competition case against CRH in the court.
And that case was being heard by John Cooke,
yeah,
was it?
John Cooke actually issued a detailed ruling in the summer, throwing out Seamus May's case, and after this, Seamus May made some inquiries, and there's 2 cases basically being run. The other is like Good Concrete, and the people in Good Concrete told Seamus May that at the start of their case, Judge Cooke had said he'd mentioned that he had a vague feeling of having some CRH shares. So this led Seamus May to make further inquiries, and he got in touch with Bloxham, and they told him that there was shares in excess of 7,500 CRH shares with a value of around over €100,000 in his name, basically, and that some of these shares had actually been acquired, 2,500 of these shares being acquired after the Goods case, a week after the Goods case started its hearing.
So he started hearing a case against a company in which he then went and bought shares.
Well, yeah. Now, today the judge said he recused himself from the case. He said he didn't know these shares being purchased in December 2010, and the good case, he started hearing that on November 26th, when he made this statement about having a vague feeling of having some CRH funds in a pension fund. And he said let me see the exact quote. He said a small number of shares. So he said, I didn't know that. He said, basically, I was a judge in the European courts up till 2008, and at that stage he moved back to Ireland, and he was 65 in 2008, and they sold their house in Luxembourg and invested some funds, invested some of the proceeds of that sale into shares. And they had a pension manager who in 2010 invested these proceeds into some 15 different accounts, or 15 different shares. So one of these, he said, was CRH, but he said, look, you can take my word for it, I didn't know that they were investing in these CRH shares a week after I began hearing the CRH case.
How much will this cost the state? Because how long had the pre-trial work been going on in relation to the case being brought against CRH by this other company, Good Concrete?
Well, the Good case started November 26, 2010. That's when Judge John Cooke started hearing it. So he was very, you can see he was angry today. He was saying, look, why didn't you come to me earlier? The Goods say, well, look, when you said a very small number of shares, we didn't think would be to this extent, and we only learned about this. So there's obviously 2 different perspectives, but he's written 3 judgments, very extensive judgments on pre-trial issues, on security of costs. He said he believed today that all these rulings that he's already made will be appealed to the Supreme Court. Who's going to be left with the costs on those? It's up in the air. It's a very unusual thing. Like, judges do recuse themselves from cases quite often, but usually it's at a very early stage, not over 2 years down the line. So the costs on this thing, like CRH, their lawyer stood up today and said, we don't think there's any reason for this motion to recuse the judge to take place. So I think the cost issue is something that is going to be fought down the line.
And finally, Mark Tighe, is there going to be any consequences for the judge for not realising that he was a shareholder in a company in which he was going to hear a major case about?
Well, he'll say that if he did make a statement now, whether it's arguable whether that statement would have alerted people to the extent of the CRH shares. There isn't a judicial council in Ireland, so there's very limited scope for this thing to be discussed. In a statement to us at the weekend at Sunday Times, they told us that he discussed this with Nicholas Kearns, and he'd make a statement on it in open court. So, like, at the moment, if this was to go further, it would have to be for the Oireachtas to look into it, and we situation if it goes that route.
Mark Tighe of the Sunday Times, thank you very much for joining us. Coming up,